Right now, as we're sat here, there are SAS operations ongoing, protecting people like you and me and this country. In 10 minutes' time, in 1 hour's time, in a month's time, something's going to happen in London, and you're going to need those SAS boys on the ground.
My name's Chris Hughes. I'm Defence Editor of the Daily Mirror. Today we're talking to Robert Croft, one of the most experienced British soldiers who served in Northern Ireland. Bob, today you're here to talk to us. Why have you decided to talk to the Daily Mirror today?
Well, the main reason at this time is due to the legacy stuff that's gone on through Parliament. I'm concerned that the legacy could not support the reality of what happened back in the 80s and 90s, particularly with the SAS operations. I've served in Northern Ireland since the late 70s in the Parachute Regiment and in the 80s. Then in the mid-80s, I joined the SAS and I served on operations covertly throughout the province right up until the peace process. So ideally, we need a voice out there to represent the current serving SAS people and the SAS lads that are under investigation. I know most of them. In fact, I know all of them. And they can't speak because they're under the various restrictions during the inquiry. So, I put it upon myself to come out and speak on their behalf, really.
So it's unusual, to get someone like yourself talking so freely and being identified. Is it fair to say then that you are providing a voice to serving SAS soldiers? That's
my aim.
Yeah.
To provide voice, and I am supported by the SAS associations in that as well.
And the SAS association is?
Well, that's the SAS association that supports all serving and ex-serving members of the SAS.
And before we started the interview, you were explaining to me why, particularly now, it's essential, in your view, that the SAS have a voice in discussions with the government about new legislation going through at the moment.
Absolutely. We're trying to hopefully work with the government. We're not anti the government. We want to work with them because there are gaps in the new legacy procedure that doesn't actually give the protection to the military because at the moment there are gaps where people could still be called into an inquiry even at our ages, and we're all in our late 60s now. I'm 68. Most people that are going to be called back are 68 plus, so we need to sort of help them follow, because the issue I think there is that there's a gap of understanding from the 70s, 80s and 90s, and now we're in 2025, and various people at various levels in government probably don't understand the complexities of operating in Northern Ireland in the 80s and 90s.
Can you explain to us, because I know that you were in charge of several units in the SAS, and that you went on many covert missions. Can you explain to us what the process is through which you have to go to say yes to an operation against the IRA in Northern Ireland?
Okay, or any terrorist. Right?
Any terrorist group, yeah.
First of all, we're not autonomous. We are there as a military aid to civil power. We report directly to the various heads of the army, and we're under control of the police, the Royal Ulster Constabulary. So we're liable directly to the Chief Constable. If a mission comes in or a job comes in, then it is reviewed by people like me at ground level initially, and we formulate a plan based on the intelligence we get, and then that plan goes up the ladder to our commanders in Northern Ireland and Hereford. Then it will go, once it's been approved, then it will go to the GOC in Northern Ireland, or it's Commander Land Forces as it was earlier. Then it will go to the Chief Constable parallel. Once that's been explained to them and they accept the operation, then it goes to the Secretary of State for Northern Ireland and number 10. All our operations where the potential lethal force is going to happen is authorised at the highest level.
By the Prime Minister even?
Prime Minister is aware of it and signs it off, yeah. So again, there is a file, for every operation we've done, there's a file that shows that chain of events.
Are you suggesting that at some stage before the legislation is changed, before the legislation comes in, that some of the intelligence reports should be revealed to justify some of the operations, or can you explain a bit about that?
Well, I think yes, because all the events have been to coroner's inquiries, and the findings have been made clear. Now we're getting new evidence come up, or hearsay, and we need to provide, exactly why we did those jobs, not why we did those jobs, but why they were authorised.
Yeah.
And without the intelligence being made clear,
Yeah.
then it looks like quite SAS rogue stuff from World War II films.
Yeah.
Where actually it's controlled, and everybody at the highest level know that if we have to use lethal force, it has to be accepted, because we're only tasked to go out on the ground when it's too dangerous for the RUC or for a policeman to do the job. So we're going against the people that are known to be aggressive,
Yeah.
well armed, and combative.
Can you describe what an intelligence report would look like? What is it that you're looking at before you decide to go on a dangerous mission against a terrorist group?
Well, the primary factor in any intelligence when it comes in, does it justify the SAS? Because it has to be different threat levels.
Yeah.
And the risk. You can mitigate risk by doing a number of things, but you can't change the threat. So if the threat is that high against a prominent target, or it can't be controlled by the RUC, then we'll look at it. In the intelligence report, it will have where the information came from, why we're dealing with the information, and what we're going to do about it. And that
Wouldn't it have the source of the information as well? So would that be a problem?
we would have an idea where the information comes from, and that would be valued from
Right.
A1 to F6. So, for example, if it was top intelligence, it would be A1.
Okay.
If it was a satisfactory intelligence, it would be C, and down to F. So A to F could be the verifiability of the
Yeah.
intelligence, and the 1 to 6 could be the likelihood. So if it's C3, it's probably average intelligence, it could happen.
Right.
F6 would be unreliable intelligence, it probably won't happen. A1 is the best intelligence, and 1 is it's going to happen.
Could there be a conflict with the intelligence agencies in terms of they wouldn't want that intelligence to be shared even now, because some of these people might still be alive, or their families might be? Is that a problem, or?
That the files have probably been locked away for various reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that could be a factor.
Okay.
But there could still be a summary of
Yeah.
intelligence to say it was justified, the operation was justified because this is what we
Right.
were told.
So what you're saying is it's a negotiation. You've got to satisfy all of these conflicting things,
Yeah.
so that the government is better informed
To make the decision.
about the new legislation to do with legacy cases.
Well, yeah, but if we jump back to this legacy case now, that information is probably not needed, because the cases should not be reopened based on the information that they're getting, because every SAS operation has produced a final report. It's got basically a patrol report, and that report says why it happened and what we did about it.
How many cases are there, as far as you know, the people you've talked about?
There's probably about 6 or 7 cases that
Right.
may be in line to be reviewed.
All to do with Northern Ireland?
All to do with Northern Ireland and the SAS, yeah.
Are they late 70s, 80s, early 90s?
80s and 90s, yeah.
So we're talking about men in their 60s?
Yeah, basically my age, 68 onwards. Yeah.
All good friends?
All good friends, all
comrades?
good friends, all under pressure. Some in good health, some in bad health. Some, have got disabilities now or mental health issues. Some have got PTSD, because the intensity of Northern Ireland was full on all the time.
Would you think that the mental, physical and the PTSD related issues are all to do with military service?
Yeah, because in Northern Ireland, when we're working, 1 or 2 operations hit the media, but there's hundreds of operations all the time. We were out most nights searching the areas, looking for stuff. We were looking for IEDs, explosive devices, searching for weapons, monitoring events, and the pressure's there. And and then we'd recover devices. We'd be under pressure to find devices. So we're out all the time in a high risk environment. And bearing in mind that we are operating covertly, so we're trying to get around without anybody seeing us, trying to verify the information we've got. And by when we find these devices, that device, for example, if you find a device in a culvert, if we hadn't found that device, that would probably kill a patrol of 8 people.
Yeah.
So the pressure to find that device is phenomenal. So we might get intelligence, there's a device in this area. We go out and search every culvert in that area overnight. And then obviously we have our more lethal action where we actually come face to face with armed terrorists. You know, but in amongst all the PTSD, it's the build-up, and it's the build-up, then it's the after operation, anti-climax, if you like, then it's the waiting, then it's the planning, then it's the political pressure. It's phenomenal.
Were any of you aware then that many years later you could be pursued for regarding allegations raised by the family members of an IRA person, or
no?
Did you think about it? Or?
Not at all, because we acted within the law, and we acted within the restrictions of the rules of engagement, the yellow card. We are under immense, pressure to behave correctly from the head of the RUC and the government, and actually ourselves. The biggest pressure we've got to act properly is from ourselves, because we know that the way things get portrayed, but we expected to be backed by the government because we were working for the government. All our operations were sanctioned by the government. All our operations knew what could happen if we deployed. And part of our planning was, if we go to make an arrest, this will happen.
Yeah.
If they're aggressive with firearms, then this could happen. So we were deployed because, one, it was too dangerous for the RUC or for the army to confront. So when we went out on an arrest option, the people that signed it off, which was head of the army, RUC, government officials, they knew that this particularly could be a lethal exercise.
You said something interesting about your career as a member of the parachute regiment. Had you passed selection for the SAS now, do you think you'd take the opportunity up to serve with the probably the most secretive special forces unit in the world?
If I was a young paratrooper now, I would probably do selection so I could prove I could pass.
Yeah.
If I was young with my brain I have on my head now, then I would not probably serve very long.
Because
I don't want this to be happening in 10, 20 years' time. So if a soldier goes and does something in another country in 2 or 3 years' time, in 20 years' time, an accusation's made and he's drawn back out of his retirement.
Have you been pursued for any actions in Northern Ireland?
No.
Do you know why that is?
No.
Do you think it could happen?
Probably not.
Okay. You're very much in touch with what's happening still in the SAS, even though that world is very closed off to most to civilians. The insight that you've got is pretty precise. What do you think the effect of all this is having on recruitment, morale for currently serving SAS and perhaps SPS soldiers?
Yeah, it's a strange one because the Northern Ireland issue now, the legacy may not have a big impact on serving members because they're not in that complex environment anymore. There are things going on which obviously for discussions, not for this session, about accusations that will make it difficult. Retention is quite difficult at the moment, I think, and the recruitment is probably down slightly.
Do you think some of the recruitment issues might be been caused by potential recruits having seen what's happened to some of the guys in their 60s?
I think it has an impact, and also what else is going on, people being called in. So I think there's definitely an impact. We know we're not above the law. We don't want to be above the law. But if you're doing stuff on behalf of the government and the expectation has been laid out, and the command structure and leadership is in place, then people should not be being pulled in. Anything that the issue that people don't realise, or the issue that there is, if there is a problem within an operation, it's dealt with, and it is dealt with, whether it's legally or within the regiment.
Yeah.
But if people behave correctly, like most of us do, and we do the job we're told to do, and we're carrying out a mission as we're told to do, and the what ifs are explained to people, collateral damage or whatever, or what's going to happen. If the government sign off to that, then it should be accepted.
You're still in touch with many of the people who are involved still with the SAS, even though you left a few years ago. What's your impression of the level of morale within British Special Forces now, because of all the things that we've discussed?
It's probably down quite a bit.
Really?
Probably down quite a bit, yeah. Again, because it's mistrust now.
Mistrust of?
Mistrust of the government. Yeah. Mistrust of what support we're going to get. The association and that format is superb in supporting. The SAS group, the DSF group is there, but we don't know what the political agenda is against us, against them. You know, so the morale, I would say, they will still do their job. They will still fight for king and country. They will deploy tomorrow. If there's a major terrorist incident, they will deploy tomorrow. But again, no doubt, if they deployed in London for a major operation, no doubt they would, you know, do it with all the right attitude. But in the back of their minds would be, what will happen afterwards?